Okay, everyone, time to get started here. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today for the Cohort 4 final pitch presentations. We have a lot of cool stuff ahead of us today, a lot of hardworking founders ready to present a lot of their stuff they've been working on the past few months. And we have some very amazing judges and advisors with us today to give a lot of their inspiring backgrounds and inspire everyone and really just give some feedback as well. So here we have the first presentation. We also have a little bit of extra time to spare today, so judges don't feel too pressed. If there's a tough decision you need to make, you have a little bit of extra time here today. My name is Nick from the Lisa team, and we also have Sandeep, who I'm going to hand it off to momentarily to go through the slides and just give you a history of the Lisa team and as well as the Lisa initiative here at within the Stanford GSB network. And we have Essie Muadi speaking today as a keynote speaker at 8:30 a.m. sharp Pacific. And we have 12 finalists here today for the Pitchfest and about 7 judges here today. And we have a presentation of winners at about 10 a.m. Could be a little earlier than that, could be a little later. So don't feel too pressed. We have some extra time to spare today. And with that being said, I'll be handing it over to Sandeep.
Thanks, Nick. It's a pleasure welcoming you all here. I think it's going to be an interesting 2-hour session with a lot of good ideas. So before we go ahead, I would like to still reiterate some of the things Lisa has been doing in the past with mentorship from these founding partners like Ed, Dipti, Pavel, and Misha. It's been an interesting journey since I got associated with this, and I'm sure all of the people working on this executive team are enjoying this. So Lisa, actually, if you go to the next slide, Nick, I will start on the introduction and where it started and all that stuff. So technically, so most of you know what Lisa is if you have not heard earlier, but I'll just reiterate some of the stories which we have built over the past few years. Back in 2019, there was no specific group. And I think one of the need which was felt was to have all this a space for people to continue and collaborate and basically, share their knowledge amongst each other. And that's where the startup idea came in. And, in parallel with the Stanford Startup Garage, this idea came up. And I think the founder members started doing this along with the Stanford Center of Entrepreneurial Studies. So which was something which gave a good traction because we could use the Embark platform, which is kind of a core or at the heart of what we do here. And if you see what we do is that Embark platform actually looks at some of the ideas we have learned from design thinking, business model, innovation, design for disruption, different courses we have done here. And that's something which uniquely combines all that niche expertise from people. And we are here to help them as an executive team. So we have seen some great stories here. And if you go to the next slide, if you talk about the stats. So some of the services we offer here are obviously based on the curriculum of Embark. And as we evolved in the last 2-3 years, there are various offerings made by the Lisa team. And there's so much intense program this program is that I'm sure these founders must have found it very intense. And thanks to a lot of contribution from these founders for this particular cohort, we also learned a lot on how to improve and provide more and better services. From the stats perspective, if you go, this is a quick intro to, if you go earlier slide, Nick, I would like to mention this for sure, because what we are doing is based on the knowledge we have gathered so far. We are creating an incubation platform and it's still work in progress, but the content is almost there. And we want people to leverage this as we move forward. And even if they go out of code, this will be a great place for them to collaborate. Next slide. Yeah. So we are in the 4th cohort now, but we already completed 3 cohorts. More than 100 plus ideas to MVP has been presented so far. We had great number of mentors coming in, helping this team. In fact, mentors are at the heart of what we are doing here because they guide in different areas, whether it's their expertise or whether it's, their area of, or the geography they're working with. And that's where I think a lot of value is coming out. We also have design thinking facilitators who turn out to be a good asset because a lot of people who may have done the design thinking course, but need some insight into how to really shape up their ideas. So we're trying to do that as well. And not to forget the Podium X series where we bring in a lot of good experts from industry to talk to us. Next slide, please. Again, we hope and we believe that our next generation of unicorn will be built from the diverse distributed team of not only lead, but if they have co-founders outside lead, then they're also welcome to this program. So we all thank you. With that, I would like to take a moment or a pause to acknowledge this leadership team. Without this team around here, I don't think this would have been possible. So thank you all for helping us here. And with that, I hand it over to Raj, who will now take care and talk about the advisors.
Thank you, Sandeep, and welcome everyone. It's a sunny, hot, humid New York City morning here, and wherever you are, whatever time it is from where you're dialing in, I do hope you are fully involved and paying attention. Believe me, this group of founders has done a fabulous job, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the table. I'll start off by introducing Davina. I feel like most of you probably know of her, and if not, you should know about her. Davina has given a lot of time to our program over its multiple iterations. We're on cohort 4. I believe she's been involved all through. I looked at her LinkedIn profile because I said, how can I say it in one sentence? I can't. She has so much going on. So she says she's an executive leader with a proven record of driving strategy and management, et cetera, et cetera. All I will say is that Embark program you're using, she is the general manager. And really, we are very thankful that she's collaborated with to do that. And she has over 19 years of collaboration with Stanford GSB. She's been part of it in many ways. Davina, over to you. I'd like you to give a brief intro and just introduce yourself to the founders and everyone on this call.
Great, Raj. Thank you for that generous and beautiful introduction. I was laughing at the put it in one sentence, right? No, it's just because I have such a broad portfolio and like many of you, really curious in a lot of things. And it's hard I don't fit in a box. And I don't think many or any of you do either. And I actually thought I would use this just, 2 minutes or so to tell you a little bit about the genesis of Embark and where that came from so you understand how specifically tailored it is for early stage and aspiring entrepreneurs. So pre-COVID, I don't know that we have a post-COVID, but we definitely have a pre-COVID. One thing that executive education was looking at was how we could do more to help entrepreneurs around the world. You all probably know that Stanford Graduate School of Business is well known for its research and its expertise in teaching and supporting entrepreneurs. However, that was really available to a really small number of people who were in largely degree programs and a limited set of executive education programs that really had a much smaller enrollment than LEAD does. And so that was part of this experiment with Embark. There were other things about exploring the online space and to see if we could have impact at scale, all of these different things. Anyway, for any of you who have been a student of Professor Stefanos Zenios or have discovered design thinking or studied design thinking, this will resonate with you. Our first step with Embark was to really assess, is there a need out there? And a big part of doing that was our user interviews and developing empathy. And we talked to entrepreneurs, we talked to investors, we talked to academic institutions, accelerators, incubators, all different types of stakeholders in the entrepreneurial ecosystem around the world. And the bottom line is after, I think it was something like 60 or 70 interviews over months, here's what we found. The vast majority of people interested in entrepreneurship around the world have the resource of the internet available to them. And when you go on the internet and you do a search for entrepreneurship or I want to be an entrepreneur, imagine the results that you get, right? You get hundreds, if not thousands of results. It's very hard to navigate where do I start? What information do I look at? What sources do I trust? And so what we found was that entrepreneurs wanted a curated kind of get started kit from a source that they trust, right? And we're Stanford GSB. They trust us. And that was the germination, that was the conception for what Embark was, to really focus it on the key steps you need to evaluate if your idea has legs, so to speak, and to help you test and iterate quickly so that you can figure out how you can identify a market need out there or find people who are a match for what you've developed. So that's what I want to share with you all. The last thing that I'll leave with you is, in talking to all those folks in the entrepreneurial space, what really stood out was the highs and the lows of this journey. And sometimes those highs and those lows come in a single day. Honestly, sometimes they come in a single hour. So I want you to know, because I imagine all of you have experienced some of those, that is part of this journey. Surround yourself, as you have been doing, with other entrepreneurs, with advisors, experts, support systems, because that is what you need for the long haul. And I will close this with one entrepreneur that I talked to, and I've been so inspired with what he said. He was actually, if I recall, in Armenia, and he had been a student in one of our other programs. And one of the questions we had in our early empathy work interviews was, looking back, what do you think was the biggest failure or mistake you made? And he thought for a moment, and he said to me, I haven't made any mistakes and I don't have any failures. I was like, what do you mean? Say more about that. He said, everything's been a learning opportunity. When things didn't work, I figured out, spent time thinking about, why didn't that work? How come it didn't go in this right direction? And I learned from that, and I kept going. So I want to leave you all with that thought, because it's incredibly inspiring, and you all are doing amazing work on the right track, even if it doesn't all work out the way you initially had hoped. All right, back to, I'm not quite sure who's next, but back to whoever's taking it.
Yes, that's back to me again. And thank you. That was a masterclass in pitching for all the founders watching this. She pretty much said what she wanted to in those 2+ minutes in a beautiful manner. So thank you for that. And yes, Professor Zenio's class, definitely, if you haven't taken it, do it, everyone. Next person that I would like to introduce is another advisor for Lisa, and that's Stephen Aporta. A lot of you on this call might actually already know him. He is a director for Emergence Consulting. He's also a Bank of America advisory panel member. Again, if you look at his LinkedIn, there's a lot of verbiage on it. I will say what really resonated with me was a lot of experience leading business transformation initiatives for private and public sector organizations in the area of strategy advisory. So over to you, Stephen, to talk more and let everyone know what your areas of interest and focus are. Thank you again for doing this.
Thank you very much. And my name is Stephen Aporta once again. It's great to see many of the same faces that have been coming through this process through Lisa. It's very good to see you evolving and advancing. I'm a serial entrepreneur at heart. I'd like to think that beyond different things that I work on, I've worked in about 12 industries and in different capacities and sometimes very drastically different roles. A lot of what I've done is really about problem solving, looking for solutions to problems, whether they be common or a little bit more off the beaten path. And working in public and private sector, I really like to see challenges, and I like to work with people who are willing to push the envelope and sometimes take a little bit more risk to either achieve what their personal or group dreams and goals are, or maybe solve a problem and really elevate the experience for everyone as a whole. The journey of an entrepreneur is difficult. It has its good moments and bad moments. I would say that we probably rely more on an average of that experience. Don't ever look at the most negative or the most positive, sort of believe in the average, but hopefully you always keep moving forwards. And it's a pleasure to be working with you. And hopefully within this process, this is either a stepping stone or a major catalyst for all the things that you want to do or be as a founding group in your life, in your professional careers. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, for those wise words of advice. And I also want to point out that Stephen is going to be one of our judges today. So for all you founders, you know where he's coming from. And I think that's a very useful, words of wisdom that we could all use, actually, even those who may not be entrepreneurs, because we're all intrapreneurs in our own organizations, whether we like it or not, or we'd like to believe that. Moving on to the next person I'd like to introduce, I have the honor of introducing Alina Adams. She is a founder and CEO of Artfolly Inc. She is in the climate solutions and sustainability space. She's a founder of an award-winning hardware company in air purification space that removes carbon for fresh air indoors. As someone who's asthmatic, I was just thinking and looking, that's what I really need. So definitely something that I think it resonates with almost every one of us. The other interesting point I'd like to mention is she is a social entrepreneurship mentor at Santa Clara University. Like all of our advisors here, she's multi-talented, multi-focused. And so over to you, Alina. I'd love for you to give us a little more of a peek into your world.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to be short. I'm currently traveling in Portugal. I'm actually mentoring also at European Innovation Academy, and it's like right in the middle of it. So unfortunately, I won't be able to stay for the whole presentation. I'll watch the videos because I worked with most of the teams, if not all, on the call. So most of you know me. You can read more about me if you're interested. I don't like to talk about myself, so I'll talk about my role in this. And in general, what motivates me to work with social entrepreneurs, with entrepreneurs, is for me to be able to make some kind of positive impact. And I like to work with entrepreneurs because I see the passion and why we are all doing what we're doing. And this is just so rewarding to see when people putting their heart and soul and creating something out of nothing. And of course, there will be challenges, ups and downs. And that's why we need to have this support network, support system, because I was privileged to have, I was lucky to have a lot of mentors and advisors when I was starting as an entrepreneur with my first company. And now several ventures later, I enjoy and I feel very rewarding to be able to give back some of my experience and hopefully make your life easier as an entrepreneur. So you can go out, create businesses and create this positive impact. So yes, you've heard my kind of short bio. I am crazy about the climate, clean tech solutions, CO2 removal, and so on. The social entrepreneurship is also a big part of it. I do believe that we can create products that are both good for the environment, for people, for climate, and at the same time creating business models where we can make sustainable businesses and make money essentially. So I'm, again, here to help you, continue to help even after this pitch deck. Feel free to stay in touch. I stay in contact with a lot of companies from previous cohorts that I also advised. So please stay in touch, keep me posted, let me know if I can help with anything. I've been through this cycles of journey of startups from the beginning to the end multiple times, including fundraising and scary things of exiting. So please let me know, and I wish you best of luck for the presentation. Just enjoy the ride. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. She's very modest. She's also, she didn't mention, but I feel I should. She's also teaching business at Northeastern University, apart from all the various mentoring. And it's also an example of how she expands time to do all the various things she's passionate about. And with that, she's also a judge. So again, thank you for that, Alina. With that, I'm going to hand over to Valerie Andre, who's going to take, this is baton passing in the LISA executive team at this point. So thank you all, and over to you, Valerie.
Next slide. Yeah, so we would have Alexandra who would have joined us, but unfortunately she just informed me that she will not be able to join this session. She had a second call entering, so we should take the next slide. Thank you. Raja.
Yes, hi. So thank you for that, Valerie. We're going to miss Alex, and hopefully we'll see her another time. But over to the next, I want to introduce the investors now at this point. And believe me, I'm sure all you founders are eagerly watching out to see who they are, and probably you guys have already sent your LinkedIn connects to them. But the first one is Dan Mathis. Dan is a founding GP for Reaction Fund. He's the founder and principal. I mean, there's just so many founders I can see written here. Solstice Capital. He's also principal and board member for Advanta Health. I think we're very lucky to have so many diverse types of investors join this call as well as this program. So I don't know, Dan, if you're here. Yeah, I can see you. Over to you, Dan.
Hi, great to meet everyone. Very honored to be included in this. In short, Reaction is a Stanford fund, and we are there to work with Stanford Lead and you know our friends and family from Stanford in any way that we can to help. So very excited to learn about some of your ventures and to see how you know, Reaction and myself can play a role. And thank you to the Lisa team for including me.
Thank you, Dan, for that. And we hope to have a long-standing association with you going forward as well. And our next investor I'd like to introduce is Elke Van. Elke is a venture capitalist, and she works for Charles River Ventures. In my past line as an FX trader and interest rate derivatives person, I used to actually cover that company. But over to you, Elke. I believe you're.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. My name is Elke Van. I'm an investor at CRV. I guess a little on the fund. We're an early stage venture capital firm that also does a little bit of growth as well, focusing on consumer enterprise software as well as healthcare and biotech. A bunch of Stanford, GSB, and Stanford, just in general, DNA on the team. I'm so excited to engage with you guys. I'm excited to see the pitches. Thank you.
Always wonderful to see Stanford grads give back. And as a parent of one, I'm hoping that that tradition continues. Next on my line is David Susportos. He's a founder and CEO at Funds Matcher and digital project manager at Blue. David, love for you to give our founders a little more of a peek into what you actually do. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. So basically, I'm the every day to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. If you could start again, thank you.
Okay, sorry. So basically, I'm the founder of Funds Matcher with Jeremy. We basically help startups to raise funds through a powerful ecosystem. So we have access to a lot of investors that are trusting us to advise them on investment on startups. We're based between Paris and Tel Aviv, and that's all. We have the opportunity to hear a lot of startup every day for us. So we're very excited.
That was quick. I mean, I guess you're being modest about your skill sets, but I do hope everyone.
Yeah, of course. If I can share a bit of my background.
Please do.
I worked, yeah. So basically, I worked in the incubator of Microsoft.
So David, I think you're cutting out again.
Perhaps something, because I think Jeremy, you were
in charge of.
David, we don't hear you.
Right,
I'm so
David,
sorry.
we couldn't hear you, so we'll have to get back to you on that. But everyone, do look him up on LinkedIn. My last investor that I'm going to be presenting today is Jeremy. He's a PhD student and a biomedical engineering neurosciences funds matcher. It's most interesting when a student is on this group with this group. So over to you, Jeremy, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sorry, I was muted. So hi everyone, my name is Jeremy. So I'm still a PhD student, so in biomedical engineering and most specifically on neurosciences. So I'm working on epilepsy, and I co-founded the Funds Matcher with David now 2 years ago. So as I said, we are based in Paris and in Tel Aviv, and we are trying to help startup and investors to grow and invest into the good startup based on different criteria. And then yeah, thank you to invite us in this pitches session, and we can't wait to hear the pitches that they prepared, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you for that, Jeremy. And I think it's very inspiring to see a PhD student doing this. And now over to our, Andres, I'm not sure if the keynote speaker is here, but over to you.
Yes, thank you, Valerie. And yes, SC is here. So hi, everyone. My name is Andres, and I'm now happy to introduce to you our keynote speaker for the day. Thank you again, SC, for joining us. We're really excited to get to hear from you. So SC Moari is the founding managing partner of Mighty Capital, a Silicon Valley firm, the founding CEO of Products That Count, a global product acceleration platform reaching over 20% of all product managers, 300,000 plus strong. That's awesome. And a lecturer at the executive programs of Stanford and Columbia universities. Prior, SC built products that billions of people used at Facebook and Nokia. And I guess if that wasn't enough credentials, Andrew Chen, general partner at Andersen Horowitz, called SC, quote, a genius at making products people love. How great is that? SC serves on the boards of public and private companies, earned a master's in electrical engineering, a Stanford MBA, and is a Kaufman Fellow. SC is also saying if any of us is interested in more information, we may all visit mighty.capital. So with that, I'll pass it on to you, SC, and thank you so much again for supporting us today.
Yes, absolutely. It's really an honor to be here. I'm looking forward to a really interesting time together. So the team, when I was asking what would you like me to talk about, suggested that I start by sharing a little bit of my sort of career story, how I went from building products for a decade to then being an investor for a decade, what was the transition there, and then talk a little bit about what I've learned building and investing in great products, in what makes a great product. So I'll start with that for a few minutes, and then hopefully we have time for a couple of questions. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Paris, in France, and then graduated from an electrical engineer school, the equivalent of MIT in France, called Supélec. And then I wanted to see a bigger world. So went to Silicon Valley, got my MBA at Stanford, and never left. I was really caught by the magic of Stanford and Silicon Valley. And when I graduated, it was the crisis time. It was the dot-com bust. And so I turned to some mentors that I nurtured through the Stanford network and asked them what I should be doing. And they said, just go work in product for a well-managed company. I didn't really know what product management was, but that I quickly figured out that nobody else did. And so at least we were all equal that way. And we all had the big imposter syndrome that most product managers still have. And, I'm going to jump then. I did that for a number of companies, for Siebel Systems, which is now part of Oracle, for Facebook, for Electronic Arts, Nokia. And in between each of the large companies, I also had my own company every so often. And then the last one, after I sold it, that's how I ended up at Facebook, which was at the time very cool still. And I spent a few years there, and I left because there were too many things that were pulling me into what started looking like more of a portfolio career. So I had been sort of in that linear path of like starting companies, joining companies in product. But now I was invited to teach at Stanford. I was invited to be on boards. I was invited to invest. And so I wanted to do more of that sort of portfolio career than anything else. And so I left Facebook, was invited to write a book on what makes a great product. And that book, did well, and it was another story. But really, the key takeaway from that book. Sorry, there's a bit of background noise. If you want to just mute yourself so everyone can hear, because I know some people had challenges with the audio. Thank you. So what happened with that book is I realized that my peers, other product managers, did not have a place to share best practices and collaborate and network. And so I started hosting initially at my house, but very quickly we found the Yelp headquarters was our very first place. And then we had events every week in multiple cities around the country, just to talk about, what makes a great product, what makes a great product manager. Soon after, what makes a great product leader, because a number of people were in leadership roles. And that's what started this network and this platform now, Products That Count, that reaches over 20% of all product managers. that network for a bunch of years, frankly, didn't look like anything. And a lot of my friends were like, what are you doing? You had this great job at Facebook and now you're kind of on Twitter and on, hosting like meetups, or what is this, right? But now, 7 years in, what happened is we have, all sorts of programs running, like a small media organization that's dedicated to products, like a weekly newsletter, a podcast that won a Webby nomination, a Webby honorary award. We have monthly programs like mastermind circles. We have annual awards for great products, great chief product officers. And we partner with amazing brands to help them create great products. We partner with Colombia to help them design a curriculum for products. So there's an element of personal meaning that's become really important. The other part that's really meaningful is those 300,000 product managers. We basically empower them to build a career in technology. And so it is a way for them to change the course of their lives. And, it's a way for us to do our part in bridging the inequality gap, right? Because building a career in tech is really a way into wealth. So that's been a huge driver of, why we decided to focus on this and grow this. And then in parallel to that, and this is sort of the most recent chapter, this network also brought us a lot of very interesting companies and investment opportunities. And so I was doing angel investing, doing SPVs with family offices and such. And it became at such a pace that it made sense to actually start a venture capital firm. And that's what Mighty Capital, the company was, we launched it 5 years ago. We're actually going to celebrate our 5-year anniversary in a couple of months. It feels like we blinked and we're 5 years old, but we've raised 2 oversubscribed funds. We're well underway raising our 3rd one, and we've invested in Airbnb, DigitalOcean, Amplitude, SignalWire, Mission Bio. Many of these companies have an affiliation to Stanford. So that's a little bit of the, kind of how things unfold and that arc story. And then maybe to share what I learned about what makes a great product. That was really that turning point when I left Facebook and started this different career. I don't think I realized what I signed up with at that time, because my publisher found me, said, hey, we want you to write this book because we think that the next evolution of technology is going to have a women visionary. And if you look, like pretty much any tech author is a guy. So I was like, okay, I'll take the challenge. But then as soon as I sign up, I realized that defining what makes a great product is a huge task. And I wanted this to be something that I would be proud of years after. So I interviewed literally hundreds of product leaders. And what I learned or found out or distilled was technology has become an extension of ourselves, right? We hold our phone, our watches, glasses, everything. And so if we want to think what makes a great technology product, we have to think what makes a great person. And then I started to look for what describes a great person. It's actually really hard to find a framework for that. So I used the mind, body, spirit framework. And that's sort of how I design what I call the product formula, which is, the body rule. We all want to look good. Therefore, we expect that our products will also be beautiful. And so what does that mean, beauty in product? It's not, pretty pictures. It's a combination of efficiency, a wow factor. And of course, I go into a lot more depth in this book. Then the second rule, the body spirit, the spirit rule is we all want to have meaningful lives. We all want to do something like leave a legacy of some sort. And so therefore, we expect that our technology will also be meaningful and personalized to us. But with personalization also comes some responsibility around privacy. And so how do we weigh, when we build products, or technology, how do we weigh the pros and cons? And then the third rule is the mind rule. We all want to learn. We all want to grow. You're part of that program for that reason. As an example, And so we also expect that our technology is going to evolve with us. Now, how it learns is both very incremental, right? You probably have heard of terms like growth hacking and lean agile and things like that. But there's also like big leaps in learning, like slow learning, when you look at the science of learning. And so how does technology make these big leaps with AI and such? So these are some of the key things I wanted to share with this group. And Andres, if you think that's a good time to take questions, I'm happy to take one or two questions.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much again, and congratulations on Mighty Capital's upcoming 5-year anniversary. Very good.
Thank you.
Sure. So does anyone have any questions maybe on the chat, or let's give it maybe a few seconds.
I know there's a very busy program, so I'm not surprised people want to get going.
Sure. And if not, maybe a last one. Basically, how has this process of, let's say, of growth at Mighty Capital been? It seems over 5 years, it has grown quite a lot. So maybe if you can walk us a bit through that. Yeah.
Yes. So maybe a couple of things, like each fund in venture capital is kind of a big learning. So when we started, we said, hey, we can add a lot of value to the companies we invest in because we give them access to all these product managers, and product managers generally, like, they love new technologies. So they're going to be great, beta testers. They're going to be great users. They're going to be great hires. What we then quickly realized is that they're not just people who like to play with technology, but they also increasingly have buying power. And so they became very strong buyers of technology for our portfolio companies. Like Amplitude, for example, says we've generated millions of dollars in revenue for them by introducing them to these product managers, director of products, who end up, either directly buying on behalf of their company or being a strong influencer in the buying process of their company. And then the other key value and key learning is these product managers, they're also, especially, a chief product officer or a VP of product, they're also buying companies to fill gaps in the product portfolio. And so we've had some of our companies be acquired by some of the chief product officers in our networks. And so it's been really interesting to see how the different, learnings and use cases are evolving. And then with COVID, obviously, and the acceleration of all the digital transformations across industries, now the discipline of product management is really widespread across the board, globally, across industry, across geographies. And we've started to do extensive research on the role of the chief product officer. Today, there are 15% of Fortune 1000 who have a chief product officer. And that was when we compare it to chief marketing officer, for example. 15 years ago, 15% of Fortune 1000 had a chief marketing officer. And if you're old enough to remember that, at that time, people were saying, what does a chief marketing officer do? They do TV advertising or something like this. But today, chief marketing officers are incredibly influential in the C-suite. And we think the same thing is happening with chief product officer, where probably in 5 years, 70% of Fortune 1000 will have a chief product officer, and they're going to be very, very influential as well.
Thank you for sharing.
The story continues.
Very good. Awesome. So maybe we actually have one question and then we'll continue with the program, Valerie and Sankar. So from Jean, for new products, how important is the quality assurance process in product development in building the new business?
Yes. So when you're incredibly early, like if you're basically saying like, let me just try to find 1 or 2 customers, you really want to make sure that your relationship with these first customers is incredibly solid. So you're going to do basically whatever they want, and it's going to get you towards like your first iteration of product market fit. And so, quality is, I will say, important, but less important than your relationship with these customers. I'll give you an example. I used to work for Nokia, which at that time was a massive company. It was like Android today. And we released a product that was a terrible product, unfortunately, and got a lot of grief from a lot of Nokia users at that time. It was what it was. The decisions had been made leading to that launch. But what happened is we ended up engaging with all these users on as many forums as we could, saying, thank you for the feedback. It's extremely valuable. Can you be more specific? We filed bug reports. We followed up with them. We said, hey, we fixed this issue that you had. Can you test, make sure that it's actually corrected? And we were really able to turn them into advocates. So what that tells you is you have to identify customers that are going to be most vocal, because they're the ones who are going to spread the word for you. And they're going to spread something. You might as well want them to spread good things about you, right? So when you identify them, if they have something negative to say, you got to listen really carefully, make the changes they ask for as effectively as possible, let them know you're making the changes. You'll turn them into fans, and then all the criticism they used to direct to you, they're going to direct their praise to bringing other customers to you.
Awesome. Thank you again. And I think with that, we're going to go to the next step in the program today. So once again, thank you for joining us. We really appreciated the chance, and we'll stay in touch. Thanks.
Thank you for having me. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye, you too. Thank you.
Next slide.
Hello, everyone. This is Janka. I'm from the LISA team. Today, I will be driving this pitch session with all our amazing founders. This has been a great cohort, and it has been fun knowing you all. We have a great team of advisors and judges here. So all the best, everyone. We are on a tight schedule. There is a 3-minute timer for everyone. I will give you guys 30 seconds heads up. So please, let's try to stay on the time. All right, and with that, we'll start with our first found haptic band, Margaret.
Thank you. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Margaret from Neurohaptics. Great to see you today here. I'm pretty sure that most of you tried VR in any circumstances, and VR already transformed our reality in medical, entertainment, educational backgrounds. However, despite the improvement of the content and the technology in the recent years, the adoption is still slow. And the major factors that are hindering the adoption is the poor user experience and the lack of content offerings. And I'm referring mostly to gaming market. By the way, I'm sorry for my voice, I lost it yesterday. Almost 40% of the users are experiencing motion sickness when they start playing. So we see an opportunity here to improve the VR gaming market by helping the developers to offer a more compelling gaming content that is not limited by hacks with limited locomotion. And we know what traditional console and PC gamers. We can help to improve the easy adoption of a AAA console style content to VR ecosystems and bring in all the past investments to the new market. And we help to reignite the interest of those customers who already tried and acquired the VR equipment, but not using it due to their motion sickness. So about 20% of the customers who already invested money into the VR are not using it and shelved it. Our solution is a new peripheral device that improves the user experience by improving the immersion feeling and reducing the motion sickness. It can be built into VR headset and replacing the strap, or it can work as a standalone device. It has 18 fully independent actuator motors that are controlled by the games, responding to your movement in the VR, and thus improving the immersion feeling. There is no other device today on the market that is doing both, reducing the motion sickness and improving the immersion. We have a patent in the US, and our hardware capabilities are much better than some of the competitors that are trying to do similar products. We are looking mostly on the US gaming market. Again?
You have 30 seconds left.
30 seconds. Okay. 10 million users and $640 million. We already have an engineering prototype that is fully ready in testing. We're working on our DFM, and Q1 23, we will be ready to go on the market. We are investing money currently into the DFM and beta manufacturing. We're looking to raise about $250,000 for go-to-market strategies. And our team consists of main 3 co-founders.
We are done with the 3 minutes. Thanks a lot for your presentation. It's awesome. Can we get the next? All right, next up is final say, Wenhui and Eric.
Yeah, hi, good evening. Good morning, everyone. It's evening in Nairobi. Okay, just going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, looking good.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have all lost someone that we love, and in the midst of grief, decisions are thrust upon us. My niece passed away earlier this year, and as the tears fell, her family had to figure out, do we bury her? Do we cremate her? She was always colorful, so we shouldn't wear black, right? What happens to her things? Seemingly small decisions, but ones that seem insurmountable when in the throes of grief. And even worse, her socials continued sending reminders of her. It got me thinking that there had to be a better way. Death is hard, and talking about death is even more uncomfortable. It is estimated that in most developed countries, between 40 and 70% of adults do not have a will. And for most of the developing world, this statistic is even worse. But knowing that you've put in place your final say can make the topic a little less distressing, a little easier on those that we leave behind. And that is how Final Say aims to help, to be a highly empathetic, simple, cost-effective, and informative avenue for people to document and to distribute their final say. We are the team of Final Say, Wangoi Njoroge and Eric Mukaya. While we're both computer science majors, I have a strong background in sales, product, and strategy, while Eric is strong in software development and enterprise systems. Our combined tech and business acumen, along with that of a carefully curated advisory team, makes us fit for market. Our target, the end-of-life planning industry. From customized caskets to creating memorial objects from cremated ashes, startups across the globe have been scaling up offerings aimed at end-of-life planning in an industry that is worth an estimated $128 billion. Startups with similar offerings like Cake in the US and Farewell in the UK are mostly focused on their local markets. So what's the problem? Our users say that their challenges are inadequate information on the process, they perceive it as tedious and expensive, and there's also the fear of planning for one's death. So Final Say will provide a full digital service to our customers that enables them on end-of-life decisions, helps them to put them down, brings in supporting services they may need, and finally make their wishes known to those that they choose. We will start by targeting Tina. Tina is in the 30 to 55 age bracket. She has dependents who are not necessarily children. Her average home income is about $12,000 a year, and she has assets she wants to protect. Like most women, she is more likely to educate others once she herself has been educated. So how will we reach her? Using a curated content strategy to engage with her, create brand awareness, and establish authority, then the feedback we receive from her will be used to tailor and improve our overall offering. And we will onboard channel partners who will help grow our demand and our brand. We will offer an annual subscription for the will and last respect services and add-on partners, advanced healthcare directives, and embark.
3 minutes are done.
And sorry?
Your time is done. 3 minutes done.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Thanks a lot for your time. Okay, next one is the lead gig economy by Ron. And I'm not going to give the 30 seconds reminder. I don't want to interrupt your flow. So just please be mindful of 3 minutes timer.
Yeah. Thank you. First, let me share my screen. Can you turn my sharing on?
Not yet.
Hey, are any of the judges having any troubles with the scorecard?
Seems to be working fine. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephen.
All right. Okay, Ron. Okay.
Okay, can everyone
Put the timer down. Okay.
can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so remember the excitement of winning your biggest victory of your career, and thinking back, you did do something different. Your friends and family were happy for you. Your coaches, they were ecstatic. They witnessed your hard work and frustration, and also your disappointments. And your coaches stood next to you when your career and company were stalling. And they said, just like an airplane stall, your team hears the high-pitched warning signals that you do next to your critical survival. So here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the ones who see things differently. So my friend Kevin, he's executive. His job is to hire, excuse me. Let me go back here. So my friend Kevin, the executive, was stalling, and like thousands of firms today, he and his company are facing unprecedented problems. Friends don't let friends stall. I began coaching Kevin on better strategy and innovation with methods learned from Stanford Lead. A lot of companies stall in the lower middle market. Executives in the space, like Kevin's firms, are hired to grow and move out of the lower middle market. There are 200,000 middle market firms earning $10 trillion a year. 15% of them are stalling, turned away from seed investment. And with a penetration rate of 5%, the potential revenue is 45 million. Interestingly, though, these firms in this space, when seeking help, have less cash. Under this pressure, they often find consultants who offer fragmented and studied advice, creating more problems. So we aim to help these companies grow, because many families depend on these firms for their success. So Flex executives from Stanford Lead are trained to mitigate these business stalls by filling the skills gap with better lead knowledge. So what problem are we solving? So active inertia, executives know they're in trouble and trying to get back to zero by accelerating the same methods and tools used before. What's needed is better consulting at a price they can afford and on terms they can live with. In Kevin's endorsement letter, he writes, knowing they're also Stanford alum gives me the confidence that the information is accurate and also studied. How to help more Kevins? Find Flex executives, match the problem to the team, marry the problem to the solution. To scale, we find, match, and marry. In the tug of war of market share, many voices clamor for the latest solution. The Lead gig economy offers branded experience and study consulting to founders in the lower middle market with lessons learned from Stanford Lead executives. We're changing the way executive education is viewed, consumed, and delivered and monetized.
Hey, Ron, time is up.
Very well.
Thank you. All right, next is Team Awalala. Please welcome Red, Ethu, Rebecca, Desfae, and NSS. And I'm really sorry for butchering your names. Thank you. Start.
Sure, no problem. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yep.
All right. Hi, my name is Masarat, and this is Aulala, a content-driven e-commerce platform for the Ethiopia market. Online shopping is emerging in Ethiopia, but not through Amazon, eBay, or any other similar means. Instead, a very informal approach is serving the market. This approach involves sellers renting a bunch of personal social media channels to post their sales ads, which contain their contact info and amateur product descriptions and images. Buyers then call sellers to purchase their items upon discovering. This approach is very costly, messy to manage, and has bad transaction experience for both sellers and buyers. We, founders of Sawasaw, Africa's largest local content platform, launched Aulala to modernize online shopping in Ethiopia. Our world-class e-commerce platform that puts rich and multilingual content at the center of everything. From product description, local language, to evergreen educative content about transacted items, content drives everything in the platform. Aulala's powerful features combined with huge user base and deep content expertise from Soaso gives us a very unique value proposition with strong channels, strong sales channel, rich product creation, and effective transaction handling capabilities. Our revenue streams would be from subscription-based professional services and transaction fee charged from sellers. With our professional services, sellers buy a monthly fee to get key services, including digital marketing using our powerful channels, product content creation, and brand homepage within our platform. Ethiopia's market is huge and Ethiopia's potential market is huge and diverse, with its population size of 120 million. As a market entry strategy, however, we're focusing on items which are easy to deliver, youth targeted, and where rich content adds more value. We have reached key milestones so far, especially with the platform tested and launched for public access, 23 suppliers acquired and being onboarded currently, and many more sellers in the pipeline being engaged. Founders have been working together for more than 6 years now. This is the team who founded Soaso 6 years ago and grew to be one of Africa's largest local content platform with more than 200,000 crowdsourced articles, 300,000 followers on its social media channels, and millions of article reads and impressions on many access channels.
This time is up.
All right, yeah, we're raising now $100,000 million. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next up is Pago, team of Amy, Elena, and Kadir.
Hello, everybody. Pago is a public benefit corporation that is creating a kindness marketplace from those with means to those in need. The first problem we're looking to solve is around social isolation and mental well-being. The CDC reports 30% of adults over 45 feel lonely, and 25% of those over 65 feel socially isolated. One way to combat isolation is through volunteering. We interviewed users on volunteering and charitable giving and found that people struggle to find meaningful causes and feel disconnected to the local community. The second problem is that those who give financially aren't connected to those in need. Users that give to charitable organizations don't typically see where their money is going or see the direct impact of their donation. We are solving both problems through a kindness exchange for giving of time and charitable giving. Science shows giving makes us happy. It's good for our well-being and promotes social connection. Gen Xers have the highest rate for volunteer giving, and we will appeal to them for the time giving aspect. Millennials have been called the most charitable generation, accounting for 11% of total US giving for an estimated 35 billion TAM. Pago conducted a survey to better understand charitable giving needs. 80% of our respondents were millennials and Gen Xers. Both groups give heavily to crowdfunding platforms and participate in monthly giving programs. Their motivations for giving and who they give to help inform our product. Pago is a platform built on exchanging acts of kindness, where people like Allison and Dorothy, who are missing social connections, can find each other. Allison will find Dorothy, who is looking for someone to take a walk with her. She can message Dorothy directly and schedule a time to meet or save Dorothy's profile for later. Pago also enables individuals to help people pay for their groceries. Neighbors can create a grocery list of items they need. Individuals click on the items they want to buy on someone else's behalf, and purchased items are shipped directly to that person's home address. Perhaps Dorothy, who previously was the recipient of a kind act, wants to pay it forward by giving financially to James, who's in need of groceries. We will start with groceries because it is a basic need, but we plan to expand to other categories like non-food items as well. For the next few months, we will scope out the costs to build out our MVP. We will create virtual events to build our user base and facilitate kind actions. These participants will serve as our pipeline for charitable givers. As far as our business model goes, we do not plan to charge givers on the kind actions. For charitable giving, we will have a transactional model and will charge the giver a fixed fee for facilitating the operational aspects of giving groceries. My name is Amy Prego, and I have been in FinTech for more than 15 years in sales, product, and strategy. I have two co-founders, Alana Green, who will focus on community partnerships, and Kadir Nawaz, who will focus on our technical foundation. At this time, we will not be asking for outside capital because we want to make sure we've identified our costs and will be productive with your investments. Our ask is that you take a meeting with us in the next few months so we can update you on our progress. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Next up is Meta Events with Girish, Ionis, and Purnima.
Hello. Let me share my screen. You all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm Purnima, an engineer turned product manager who lives in Silicon Valley. I'm one of the co-founders of Meta Events. I've been a member of the remote working community for the past 12 years, and I'm passionate about building close-knit communities for remote groups. With the onset of COVID, the entire world moved to remote working, and unlike we thought initially, it is here to stay. It's definitely tempting, no commute, lower costs, and increased productivity. But we have lost human connections and creativity. There is a direct link between how collaboration time is spent by people and their creativity. If no one ventures out to investigate new fields of interest or looks deeper into emerging trends, then creativity and innovation will suffer. Many of us, especially the ones who started a new job during the pandemic, don't feel connected to our colleagues. Remote working has also caused an increased number of burnouts and mental health problems. In fact, multiple studies have shown that more than 80% of employees who work from home experience burnouts. With more and more companies relinquishing their physical office spaces, the chances of people bumping into each other are very less. How can we bring the water cooler talks and cafeteria hangouts back? How do we bring creativity and the feeling of community back to this remote world?
Hello, everyone. I'm Yanis, an undergraduate computer science student from Thessaloniki, Greece, and I'm also one of the co-founders. Our motto is building real communities in virtual reality. We provide communities, companies, and others options to build personalized spaces for employees to socialize. This could be a lounge where people can meet and have conversation, or it could be a game room where people play meta games together. Here you can see the Global Shapers community, which is part of the World Economic Forum, having a great time in the game room. This could even be a library where people go for some quiet time. People could have team meetings in one of these areas. The options are limitless. We plan to partner with video game companies and online libraries to provide more options for our customers. We have started the discussion with businesses to test our functional prototype that is built on top of a different platform. We are targeting small to medium companies of up to 2,000 employees in size and global communities like LEAD. Our service will follow a tiered subscription model where companies and organizations can customize their option. The market that we are talking about is expected to grow to $14.58 billion.
We are aware that we can never replace the experience of in-person interactions, but we can improve the experience for everyone in remote communities. This is a new reality for all, and businesses and communities have to adapt. Our goal is to help them make these interactions as natural as possible. We're looking for people and companies that would like to collaborate with us by funding our startup or helping us make our idea a reality. Thank you.
Time up, Purnima. Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have the team of Anjun, Vijay, Karsten, and Svetlana for Wealth Next Gen.
Okay, good morning, good evening, everyone. Let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, great. So my name is Anjun Jo from Wealth Next Gen. We are a financial planning and portfolio analytics platform. Our mission is to advance individual investors' financial well-being with a focus on younger generations. 60% of millennials in the US earning $100,000 and more live from paycheck to paycheck. And yet 70% of them will likely reject their family financial advisors. What happened? Because the industry has been adopting a product-centric approach where investors are categorized into groups. Portfolio recommendations are from a small set of options, and there's little room for investors to express their preferences. Our solution is to focus on a human-centered design, where investors are treated as unique individuals, portfolio recommendations are personalized, and the investors can fully express their preferences. So my colleague Vijay just made a video for you to take a look at our.
And welcome to this quick demo of the portfolio construction feature of our app, Wealth Next Gen. Here, we consider a user who wants the portfolio to contain 25 assets and wants exposure to 4 asset classes. This user further wants to restrict the maximum weight, for example, to 5% in crypto. They want to exclude certain assets, either because they already own them or because they're too risky. They also want to exclude stocks from the tobacco industry. Finally, they set maximum asset and sector weights in order to obtain diversification in the portfolio. If we run this case, the app returns in about a minute with all the holdings of the portfolio, which we can see here. We can look at the asset allocation. We can look at the sector allocation also. And we notice that all the constraints specified above were met. Finally, we can look at simulations of portfolio return scenarios. The plot here shows percentiles of the return scenarios over a period of 10 years or 40 quarters. That's it for this demo. Thanks for your time.
Okay, so sorry about that. Let me just move on to market potential. $72 trillion of wealth in the US will be transferred by 2045. And millennials in the US already hold $9 trillion of wealth, which is to grow fivefold in 10 years. Our go-to-market strategy would include identifying target groups from selected companies, social media, and personal finance websites, as well as offering trials via advisor platforms and personal/embedded finance apps. Our pricing for B2B is tier-based subscription. And also for our next step, we aim to raise $300,000 for front-end development and data and infrastructure building. Last but not least,
Thanks,
the team, 20 years of experience.
Time is up, Anju.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we have the modern and security system with Srikanth.
Yeah, can you please unshare? All right, can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Hello, my name is Srikanth Rajan. I'm the founder of MegID. It's a cybersecurity platform focusing on identity lifecycle management. So today, identity is the new perimeter. 94% of the security breaches happening today are identity related. There has been an unprecedented increase in the number of identities, especially post-COVID, due to the remote work, multiple devices, and a number of solutions to integrate. So the challenges companies are facing is there is an increase in the compliance and stringent regulations. So companies are challenged to understand who has access to what. There are too many point solutions, which increases the complexity and creates blind spots and gaps. There is also lack of visibility in the multi-cloud environments. There is reliance on custom scripts and manual provisioning, and more resources are focusing on manual work. So our solution is to create a platform that addresses identity holistically. These are the 3 main areas that we think should be addressed: cloud access control, smart orchestration and automation, and then traditional identity and access management. So we have partnered with 2 companies, ObserveID and Gixo. They are the product solutions, and we are providing the platform for this. And our edge is these solutions are cloud-born, innovative, and they're flexible. They're low-code, easy deployment with pre-built connectors, so the customers can have rapid value realization and save costs significantly. We also provide AI assistant solutions and also give holistic visibility of identity risks. The market opportunity, the market is projected to grow to 43.7 billion by 2026. We have a serviceable available market of $500 USD. And our business model, we are going to provide tier-based subscription options, flexible and tailored pricing options. And our go-to-market strategy will be through security conferences, roadshows, sales, and SEO and community marketing. And this is our team. We have a collective experience of over 50 years in cybersecurity. We already have a working prototype and a couple of pilot customers. Our target revenue is 2 million by 2023, and we are seeking $1 million dollars in exchange for 6%.
30 seconds left, Srikanth. 30 seconds.
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. You have extra time. That's good.
I'm
All
done.
right. Next, we have Girish Kejriwal representing Parking Reimagined. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Zankar. Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Hi, everyone. My name is Girish Kejriwal, and we are on a mission to ensure that every car has a parking spot at their destination. In a mega city like Mumbai, when driving from A to B, finding parking can be a nightmare. There's no information on parking availability. There are very few parking spots, and searching for parking is inefficient and brings about uncertainty to the whole process. Before embarking on this journey, we conducted an extensive survey and interviewed a number of users to gather insights and understand their deep needs. Our solution is a two-sided platform with a huge parking network that would eliminate the friction associated with renting out the home parking spots. When users are taking a car trip, they can reserve a spot at their destination and rent their home parking spot at the same time. This overcomes the parking challenges without any additional infrastructure. With a few taps on our app, users can search, reserve, and rent a spot and get a confirmation on their parking details. Mass transit and public parking cannot keep pace with the exponential growth of megacities and the increase in the number of cars on the city roads. The traditional approach of zoning and redevelopment needs generous investments, is politically difficult, and doesn't get prioritized. Mumbai, as a primary market, is huge. It has 300,000 cars on the streets at any given time, and almost 1/3 of them are searching for parking. Our competition will be the existing parking infrastructure, any new government regulations, or the illegal parking hacks that people employ, and we might face competition from some existing apps that are in an adjacent space. We will be expanding the platform one network at a time until we map out the entire city and before we move on to other cities. Our sources of revenue will be the 20% commission fee that we charge on each transaction, and we are targeting a gross margin of 40%. Each megacity in the developing world has similar challenges and is a potential market for us. As a team, we are a bunch of technology optimists, curious entrepreneurs, passionate about solving everyday problems. We are looking to raise $400K to achieve a revenue of $500K in the next 15 months by targeting just 1% of our primary market. Once we hit this target, we will start expanding to other cities. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. All right, next we have Yuri for the Climate House.
Thank you. Could you please allow me to share my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Our project, The Climate House, aims to mitigate the climate change impact on your business. The climate change increases the frequency and severity of natural disasters that threaten all industries. However, there is no B2B platform to assess and mitigate that risk for your business. According to our customer survey, most of the industries are in the high need for climate change response plan, either short term, for a few months in
Hello, seems like it's paused. You cannot. Cannot hear the video.
a B2B climate change response. We designed a web platform allowing customers to assess and minimize their risk from natural disasters and climate change. Our solution combines cutting-edge technologies of artificial intelligence, climate modeling, and civil engineering. Right now, we are negotiating with 3 customers from government, finance, and agriculture. Our core risk assessment platform, adjusted to customer needs, would help our customers in protecting critical infrastructure, optimizing insurance prices, and secure grain harvests. Following to our market analysis, we focus our efforts on energy and infrastructure sector, along with the finance and insurance companies. We offer a free demo for all our products to address the needs of our society. Beyond that, we offer a 3-level pricing system. The core risk assessment solution does not include the risk mitigation plan. However, it's included in the customized and on-site packages. The on-site package is intended for customers that require our software to be deployed and maintained on their site. There are several solutions on the market, most of which are offered by small-sized companies. According to our estimates, we offer the cheapest and the most universal solution that covers the vast majority of climate risks. Our competitive advantage is based on 3 pillars. First, scientific advisory from leading climate and AI scientists. Second, low cost of research and development. Most features were started as PhD projects, later on finalized by the engineers. Third, unique data that they collected in all climate zones. Our platform is ready for demonstration and due diligence. We have 3 special requests to VC. First, we are looking for early adopters. Based on these customers, we can improve our product and entail it to the customer needs. Second, we are looking for country-specific go-to-market advisory. We are open to all markets across the world. Finally, we are looking for a better sales strategy, which would help us to get a larger part of the market and increase revenue.
Thank you so much, and the technical issues.
Next slide, Nick. All right. Next, we have Abhinav and Abhimanyu from Bloom.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Switch on my video, but I think it's poor internet for everyone, so I'm going to switch it off for my presentation. And whilst I set this up and share my screen, I'd like to remind you about someone who is very unwell, someone who we all know dearly, and this pitch is on her behalf. That's planet Earth. Did you know that the clothes we wear are making her worse? That's because the fashion industry is the second most polluting in the world. with carbon emissions more than airlines and shipping combined. I was shocked when I learned that less than 1% of garments are recycled. My name is Abby. I'm the founder of Bloom. I'm keen to share with you how we can create a positive impact, starting with school uniforms, because these garments have one of the shortest lifespans, used every day by millions of children, and usually not recycled. So we're launching the world's first circular uniform service. Can feel assured that her children's uniforms are produced without harming the planet. She can opt in for a hassle-free subscription and can return the clothes back to us to be recycled. There are multiple value chains for each stakeholder. I won't go into the details, but I'd like to highlight an interesting one for you. Since we know the subscription life cycle and it is a standard repeatable garment like uniforms, means we're able to even precisely predict order quantities and only manufacture accordingly, saving resources, basically no wastage. We have already started producing with sustainable factories in the European Union and have recycling partners locally here in England. I'd like to highlight that we are inclusive and want everyone to be able to start living consciously. So even a reduced subscription option is available for low-income families. The market opportunity is twofold for the future. We could either expand to cover newer geographies in schoolwear or address other verticals like the workwear segment. We also set a high barrier to entry to the current competition. In this segment, we're offering a combination of different value chains. The map is up there. I also want to take a moment to tell you how sustainability is built into our business at every stage from the beginning. Our products are circular, and we wish to create an impact by setting an example in this industry. Our 5-year projections are shown here. I'm happy to share detailed financials for those interested. We are seeking an initial investment of 850K to get us going. We hope you can help us make an impact in the sustainable fashion industry.
Thanks, John.
This is us, Abby and Abby. We complement each other. Yeah. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.
All right, next up is Ponto Predict with Thiago and Saulo.
Hi guys, can you see our screen, Zankar?
Yep.
Okay, so just give me 1 second here. So hello everybody, I'm the co-founder of Ponto Predict. I'm along here with my founder, Thiago, and we are an HR tech, but pretty much we provide via data-driven solutions. We're focused on voluntary turnover and optimization working routines. And our goal is to reduce our clients' payroll costs and improve productivity. Our premise is that most companies with 1,000 employees plus, they face problems with unwanted departures and daily scheduling of routines. In Brazil alone, we have 8,000 plus companies with this specific profile. And in a growth scenario, there's always a thin balance between hiring and turnover vis-a-vis headcount costs and customer experience. So in a growth market, we are focused on predicting voluntary turnover and improving the optimization of routines with our clients. And in bear markets, just like the one that we're going through right now, there is always a clear balance. The companies are looking when it comes to reducing overall costs, and we are embedding our optimization models to assist them with this specific pain. So by accessing our relational database, this is where we start the entire process of the data lake, where we select the independent variables that we're focusing on our algorithms. And to give you guys an idea, right now with 3 paying customers, we have a predictive turnover model with a 90% accuracy And our headcount optimization model is reducing overall costs of headcount by more than 20%. We sit exactly in the intersection between big ERPs with workforce management solutions and HR software tools. We're nimble, so this is pretty much a customized value proposition that we present to our clients with our voluntary turnover model and our optimization model. We have a team of 10 strong where we cover the entire scope from the data lake to data mining to the customer experience. We currently have 3 paying customers. One is Brazil's largest parking lot operator, Stapar, with 5,000 plus employees. Prosegur is a global company, security company with 40,000, and Kiching is a retail investor, a retail client, I'm sorry. Our model is a SaaS B2B. We're pretty much right now, we have in our voluntary turnover 2 paying customers. On the headcount optimization model, we have 1 paying customers, and our goal is to enhance our customer base by 6 customers. Okay, thank you.
Thank
so
you.
We're raising 300,000 for 10% stake. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone. This was amazing. And this was our last presentation for the day. I think now the judges will go through the voting and we'll hear back from them soon.
You know, here's the list. We're gonna increase it to cohort 4. We've got lots of more numbers to add to this particular slide, but keep following Lisa on LinkedIn and other places. And we're gonna get right into the winners. Lots of good stuff. Very difficult to make some decisions in a very close race. So first off, our 3rd place winner goes to Parking Reimagined. Thank you. Good job. Congratulations, Girish.
Thank you.
All right. 2nd place winner, here we go, is the Modern Identity Access Management System and Service here. Congratulations. And last here, number 1, 1st place winner. Here we go.
Oh, he lost connection, I think so.
Project Reform or Plume, right? Congratulations, Abhinav.
Abhi, congrats.
Are you there? Are you out there?
He has a very bad connection. So sad. Oh.
I know him and his co-founder worked very hard on this, but congratulations for the winners and everybody else that participated and went through. Valerie, did you have some words to say?
No, I wanted to say just congratulations to everybody. It was super exciting today for me.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
Thank you to all the participants, the advisors, the mentors, the speakers, and the panelists throughout this journey on cohort 4.
Thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciated it. And on behalf of the entire Lisa team, have a great rest of your day and week.
Thank
Thanks
you.
to you,
Bye-bye.
Chris, and Nick too. Great job.
Thank you.
Oh, congrats.